Is she beating on you again?
Yeah, don't tell her.
No, the whole world knows.
No, I wasn't saying. No, I wasn't. No, no.
Leave him alone, yes. Let him record the podcast first.
Welcome to episode 12 of Fantasy Friends. I'm your host, Majelen. This is the other host, Akimbo Merk.
Dude, I love your energy on the intro, bro. Yeah. Merk.
Yeah, dude, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it exciting.
Merk. Yeah, I'm charged up today, man. You know, this is a great topic we got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, plus I got something I've been saving for the show.
Oh, that's a first. That's so doing the math. That's about one every 7 shows that you have something saved for the show.
This is not the first time. Just put that out there, though. All right. So let me tell you what I've been saving for the show. Mm-hmm. So probably about 10, 11 days ago, I got my brakes fixed on my truck.
Yeah.
All right. Let me tell you how bad I am. Mm-hmm. I'm real bad. The brakes needed to be fixed last summer.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been riding since last summer, you know, on these brakes. Yeah, I got front brakes. We need back brakes, right?
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to not throw the word stereotype out there.
So I've been riding around on these iffy brakes for a long time, going as long as I could, man. I got the pad on my brake down to about a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So no big deal. Got a little extra money. We got the brakes fixed about 10 days ago. And they give me the truck. I negotiate with the deal. I got that from you. I negotiate with Firestone. Hey, can you cut this? Can you cut that? Whatever. Got a good little price on it.
Did you tell me your friend was a veteran?
Had I had your card, I would have flashed it. Just being real. With your picture.
Yeah.
I know him. He fought so you could change tires, Firestone. And I gave him my 20% off. And yeah, so it was like $750 or something like that, and I ended up paying like $500 and something.
Yeah,
yeah. So a good deal and all of that. Well, they get the truck back, and I ride on it for about 4 days. Mm-hmm. So I got it back Sunday. Thursday, my brake light flashes on.
Yeah.
This is last Thursday, and it flickers, and it goes off. Okay, no problem. All right, you know, whatever. New brakes, you know, sometimes you got to break them in. Friday, it turns on and it stays on.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang. You know, now the first thing I think of, the inconvenience of having to drop my truck back off.
Yes.
And do I stay and wait for them to look at it, which might take 4 to 6 hours?
Yeah.
Or do I drop it off and then come back and get it the next morning, which means I got to get my wife and the kids involved, get them in their car to come pick me up. It becomes a big hassle. Not impossible to do, but it's just kind of a headache, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So I ride. I ride, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I do my little prayer. You got me, Lord? Yeah, okay, we good. You know? And, you know, I'm starting to feel the pressure go out. So anyway, Monday, lunchtime, hop in my truck right down the street, probably about a mile.
Yeah. To
the McDonald's, get my food. And I'm going through the drive-thru, and I'm like, damn, I could barely stop.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, Fred Flintstone foot through the floor.
That's a problem.
Barely stop. I was like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
So there's a Firestone almost right across the street from my job. So I get back in my car, barely no brakes, bro. Just like zero, no brakes.
Yeah.
Ride down the Firestone. I cruise into Firestone's parking lot.
Yeah.
Tapping the brake to slow down. And I go inside and I say, you know, man, I got these done in another Firestone.
Yeah.
You know, but can you guys look at them? I was like, I don't have any brakes, no brake pressure.
Yeah.
It was a real cool dude. He was like, yeah, I showed him my receipt and the paperwork. He was like, dude, pull me up in the system. He was like, yeah, no problem. I was like, bet. I was like, nah, I ain't got no ride. So I got my McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm walking about a half mile back to work.
Yeah.
You know, weather was good. So it was all good. So I was happy because had I went any longer, I probably would have caused an accident or killed myself.
Yeah,
because
of course.
dude said, man, when I got in your truck to pull it into the shop, 0 brakes.
Yeah.
And when I say 0 brakes, 0 brakes. He said, I took the tires off and it was brake fluid all over your tire.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So that's what I was saying for the show, man. I was like, God is good, man. I rode around all that time with a leak, in one of my calipers, leaking brake fluid. You know what I'm saying? Could have been in an accident. Brakes could have went out at any time, bro.
Yeah.
And when they die out, the minute I pulled into the Firestone parking lot, man. So God is good, man. That's what I've been saving for the show. What about you, Joe?
Man, there's a couple of things. And I know that we're going to stick to a strict time here, and I got plenty of time. So one of the things is that we had it was like kind of a snow ice storm.
Yes.
That happened here last weekend, and I was gaming, all Friday. It had iced over, and here it's not like up there. North Carolina is not prepped for this type of stuff. It's y'all not. Soft. And people say, well, why aren't you if it happens a couple of times a year? Right. Well, in reality, when Chicago and New York and all these big cities spend all this money having to winterize, that's money they pocket somewhere else, so they don't have to do that. As long as they can spread it on the road and then get it done in a couple of days, it's no big deal. And that's how they are. So it's iced over. You can't do anything. You can't drive anywhere. So Friday, was good. Lights were flickering all off and on all day. And sure enough, Friday night, man, lights go out. And I'm like, oh man, and they didn't come back on. So I was like, all right, well, let me get the flashlights, everything. So they come back on, and I'm like, all right, well, let me take out the dogs, and then I'll hop back on, play a little bit more tonight. Go outside. I took the dogs out front because in the back there's trees, and there was a bunch of down limbs, so I didn't want to risk limbs.
They got pretty bad.
Yeah.
Limbs falling. Okay.
So we were out front, man, and all of a sudden, freaking, you see this just almost fireball off the ground a couple blocks in front of me. It's like a bluish green, and it was one of the ground transformers that went out. So It sounded just like an EMP went off. It hit, it exploded, and all you heard was boo. Wow. All the lights went off. And
so let me stop you here. Let me stop you here. I gotta ask, because of your military background, where was your mind at that point?
So my mindset was, at that point, the first thing I thought was, okay, let me bring the dogs closer to me, let me pick them up, and then I need to get in the house. That was my first thought.
You were like, somebody shoot. They shooting. They shooting. You wasn't like that?
No. Nothing.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Just checking.
I didn't start going military mode, knocking on doors.
That's what I was waiting on. Come outside. I need you to move. I need you to move. Yeah. I need you to move over there. That direction. That's the safe zone. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You don't need that. Leave that there. We're moving. Okay, people? This way. You didn't do that?
Because if I would have done that, like 30 seconds later, the power came back on.
So you got the whole neighborhood outside trying to protect them.
Yeah.
And they're like, the power's on, right?
So then it does. It comes back on like 30 seconds later. I'm out there. I'm like, all right. So now both of them just so happen to start, they pop a squat at the same time. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's get it out. Let's get out of the way. Yeah, all of a sudden, that same fireball came, but this time there was this big, like almost a lightning bolt shot out of the ground. Wow. And dude, it lit up the sky and everything went dark. And then a couple of blocks behind me, another ground transformer went off. So now lights are off. It's all dark. It's all quiet. And then you see the whole, the second transformer blow up, and then it lights up the sky. Now at this time, my mindset.
You're running to your bomb shelter. I know you're running to the bomb shelter at this point.
This time, I get the dogs, I get them up, and the first thought, it was so eerie out there. I looked down the street. Yes. The first thought was like, please don't have a horde of zombies running down the street right now. Like my mindset was zombies for some reason.
And your mind is on the dogs and zombies.
So I had
Not
the
the bomb
dogs.
shelter.
I had them like under my, like I'm carrying 2 loaves of bread, under my
2 machine
arms.
guns. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
So, and then the power came back on. Saturday later on, and
Right.
it was just trying to. At that point, it sucks because it was so cold. But there's a little almost excitement because you're like, oh man, I'm kind of almost like camping, like you're surviving,
Yes.
And you're like, oh, well, how are we going to eat? Where's our water? Where's this? So we're all huddled up in a room. And, man, we got through it. But I'm going to end that there. And I want to jump into we got about 5 more minutes here for this segment. And I want to jump into something that involves me and you. And this is us uploading our podcast episodes to YouTube.
Right.
So we uploaded to YouTube. You decided to go ahead and upload to YouTube one day and start putting everything on there. You got all the videos prepped. You got everything set to go so you can put it on YouTube. You start putting them on YouTube, and what happens?
So I put the videos on YouTube probably about 11 o'clock. About 12 o'clock, I get an email, I think is what I noticed, and it said that our video had been flagged.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, okay, that was fast. So at this point, it kind of became like a bit of a hunt trying to figure out why is our video being flagged?
Yeah, because we changed the image on the video.
Yes.
We changed. What else was it that we changed?
We changed the background that we were using because we thought somebody might have saw our background.
Yeah.
That borrowed from the internet and said, all right, we don't want to plagiarize. Maybe somebody's mad that we use this background. So I dumped that. I created a picture of me and you. A very good looking picture, by the way.
I don't. Your picture's good. You picked one of the worst ones for me, but we'll save that for another show.
It's funny because I really didn't like my picture, and I thought I picked a good picture of you. All right, so at this point, all right, we're thinking I'm thinking everything. Maybe it's Star Wars in the title. Maybe Disney's trying to, clamp down on people using Star Wars. So I changed the title, upload the video again, and that one gets flagged.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, so we're video gaming while we're doing all of this, and we're throwing out ideas, picture, logo, name of the video, whatever it could, what could it be?
Yeah.
And so I changed all that out, put the video back up, start putting up the other videos just to see maybe okay. Because I was convinced at that point it had something to do with Star Wars.
Yeah, of course.
So I load the other podcast up, and all of those get flagged.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the crap is going on?
Yeah.
And I got this detective mindset. I've always wanted to be a detective. So I get what's going on? What's going on? Search the name. I find a guy in a foreign country. He has the same name, Fantasy Friend. So I'm almost convinced 100% that this dude, without any evidence,
that's him.
Not a shred of proof, is hating on us.
Yeah.
So I think I end up taking the video, the very first podcast, putting it on another channel, on the Power Play podcast channel to see, is it the content?
Yeah.
And that video, I get a message that says, hey, your video's been loaded. Congratulations.
Thank you for your submission.
Yeah, or YouTube is loving me. It was almost like a hand came out of the screen and it shook me and pat me on the back and rubbed messing up my hair on my head. Good job.
So all that gorgeous hair.
All that gorgeous hair.
And so at that point, now we know that it was particularly it wasn't the content, it wasn't YouTube, it was community. Someone was flagging it, whether it was the name, whether it was the channel, whatever it was, we knew that was going on. So then what happens is you put up another Star Wars one,
right?
And this one has everything changed on it. You put it up there. That one gets flagged, and you take down all the flagged videos with all the images and stuff.
Yes.
And you leave that one there, and you were like, man, you almost, and I get it because the frustration, you were like, man, let's just start another page. Let's just, burn this one and figure out something else.
I had my finger on the nuke button, and I was like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. And cool head Luke over here.
And I was just like, look, man, let's just play this one out and see where it goes. So it's funny because I type up this whole long, all I thought was amazing,
It was. Amazing.
wording, to submit. Because whenever they flag your video, you have an option to fight it, to
appeal it.
Yeah, to appeal it, and you got to give a reason. And so we do that. And I type up this long thing in a different page so I can get it and then post it in. And it only takes like 1/10 of what I wrote.
Right. I think you get like 400 characters. It only takes like 13 characters.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I just basically put in there, hey, listen, all our check guidelines, everything we did is all ours. We're getting maliciously flagged for no reason.
Right.
Either put our videos back or let us know why our videos are being taken down. So today, I just randomly checked.
Before you talk about today,
yeah.
All right, I'm not going to dog YouTube, but I am going to just say this: you should revisit your policies when it comes to flagging videos and removing people's content. I understand that YouTube is a huge program, huge software, huge community.
Yeah.
But you've given too much power to the community.
Yes. Because
I understand you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I know you got to rely on them to monitor and kind of police it, but they have too much power.
Yeah.
I think that's all I'm gonna say. Revisit it. Revisit your guidelines. Revisit your policies. Look at your customer service on the back end, because you called.
Yes.
Don't forget about that part. You called, actually tried to speak to someone who was they helped us because it eliminated some of the possibilities out there and kind of pointed us in one direction.
Yeah.
But really that person was no help.
No, and it wasn't her
issue.
fault. It was just that she said, hey, listen, I could do a lot of things for you, but as far as that, we don't have a phone line for that. I can't give you another number. You have to do it this way, and it's appeal it, give them a reason, let them view it, and then go from there. And common sense points out to this. YouTube, like you said, is big.
Right.
There's so many videos that come in there a day. There's YouTube and Google, who owns YouTube, is not going to pay people to watch videos as they come in. What's going to happen is common sense. We put all this together. I believe 95% this is how it works. You put a video, it gets flagged. The video goes up, no one looks at it at all. It gets flagged, and that automatically takes it down. So then nothing happens other than them sending a templated email that says, hey, it's taken down because you violated yada, yada, yada. And then at that point, if you don't do anything, that's all it is. But if you appeal it, now you have somebody who has to view that video. And the way that it works with appealing is that you got to go there, appeal. And it's so funny. We were making fun of it because they have imagine a whole computer screen and you have literally the top left corner, probably 1/10 of the screen.
Right.
And of a line that you put in there. It's not even open where you could read everything you're writing. It's just you're typing and you can only see like 10 words at a time. And they just make it almost, it seems like they make it so hard that you just give up and you just go somewhere else. That way that's kind of, I think, how they filter.
It works. I gave up.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what I think, and I agree with you. And we'll wrap up this segment, but I agree that they need to look at it. They need to find a different way, because if you could go in there because you just want to be a troll, or because competition, or because of who knows, man, a broken a partnership, even hey, we split off and Mert goes this way, and then Majelen goes this way, and he's got family friends, and then I got fantasy friends too. Then I could upload it, you click flag, and I'm down, and I gotta wait days.
And that was what we were thinking. We were thinking, man, we were being trolled by somebody that knows us. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were trying to figure out. We looked at every possibility. That's the detective in me, without any shred of evidence. We were thinking that somebody was purposely trolling us, and so you got the video appealed.
Yeah.
And they put it up today, right?
Yeah, so today I went back.
Right. Go ahead.
And it was there. They didn't send an email. They didn't do anything. What they basically did is viewed the video, threw it back up there, and said, "Hey, if they see the video and it's back there, then job done. That's it."
Right.
So.
Right. So which comes down to somebody purposely trolled us.
Yeah.
Now, whether it was auto troll, because there's these things called auto bots that are out there floating around, or somebody purposely said, "Listen, that's the name I want, or that's the name I have, or plan on using. I'm not gonna let these guys shine.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna try to shut them down." Maybe that's what happened. We don't know, and that's part of the frustration, is that we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
YouTube won't dig in enough to tell us. I don't think they even care, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But from our end, it's frustrating because, you know, we're trying to get this stuff out there and get all our podcasts out there for our listeners. So if they want to go back and listen, it's there.
Of course.
You know, so that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah. It's so funny. You said all the different things, and it was funny because we were joking on each other that you thought I was doing it to break up our podcast, and I thought you were doing it to break up our podcast.
Are you trying to tell me something, Jello? Just
this
tell
is
me.
the last episode of Fantasy Friends.
Yes.
But
All right,
man,
so,
let's go ahead and take a break. We'll get into the topic of the week. Oh, it's going to be good. I got goosebumps. You got goosebumps?
Oh, dude, I've been waiting all week to talk about pantyhose.
Oh, did that move? Yo, something's moving behind you, bro. Let's take a break.
Don't play. I got chills, dude.
Take a break.
Mama? It was beautiful too. It was written so well. It was like poetry.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I try to please those around me.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm lying to you, so you know. So
I read that. I was just trying to take it and run with it, hoping you didn't tell me the truth.
I just want to tell you the truth. Now I lied to you.
And that's a true friend. Welcome back to episode 12 of Fantasy Friends. Yeah. Are you ready for the scariest episode in Fantasy Friends podcast history? It started with a joke. It started with scary stories. And here we go. We are actually talking about...
We're going to talk about the origins of the unknown.
Ooh, and unknown. We're going to be touching a little bit of everything here. We're going to talk about aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot. You know, I mean, those unknown things.
Right. Yep. Magic.
Were you hesitant to do this show?
No. Why? Yes, I was hesitant to do this show, man, because I know where this show is going to go.
Yeah.
So originally when you pitched this to me, you were talking about doing something that had to do with paranormal. Mm-hmm. Now, I've ever since the first Blair Witch came out, and after that movie, I had a bad dream. I have made it a point to not watch scary movies, bro. You know, so I watched the Blair Witch, then I, experienced some real life stuff. Yeah. Besides the dream that said, listen, my mind is very creative. I have a very good memory, and I create stuff. So with my type of imagination, my dreams are very vivid. Yeah. So I was like, I cannot be feeding myself this material because it's just going to come back and constantly hunt me, Yeah. And then when you throw in my faith, I believe that when you mess with some of this stuff, you start opening up avenues, you know what I mean, to get for stuff to start latching on to you. So yes, I was very reluctant to do this show until you convinced me and paid me to to do it from a different perspective, and so I signed off. Yeah. So that perspective was a lie, and we're gonna go with what originally was gonna do. Here we go. I got a Ouija board right here. I'm gonna need you to turn off the light. Hell no. I got Tina. I PayPal'd Tina some money. That way you could get some candles going. We're gonna get this seance. Nope. No, we not. I guarantee you we're not.
Oh man,
I'm
so
almost 100% sure we're not gonna do that.
so
Doing it by yourself.
let's jump into without, we might maybe tiptoe a little bit on that line, but nothing too crazy. Let's talk about one of the outer what am I looking for? One of the off planets type unknowns, aliens, extraterrestrials.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start, man. Aliens have captivated the country, the world, for probably since the 50s, maybe 40s, something like that.
I think it really took off with the whole Roswell thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so then, Monday night, Sunday or Monday night, they brought back the X-Files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they're just kind of keeping this whole alien thing, idea alive, with the rebirth of the X-Files, one of the most popular shows that dealt with the origins of unknown things. A lot of the pop culture that we used to hearing about, X-Files investigated it, on their shows. They dealt with it. So that show came out Monday. Was it Monday or Sunday? I can't remember. I apologize, but I did watch it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. And of course it dealt with alien abductions, and it dealt with a lot that I don't want to spoil for the listeners or for you, because I really want you to go out there and watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about aliens, man. And when did they really hit the scene? Where did they come? Where did this idea of extraterrestrials come from?
I think really, man, it boils down to, I really think a lot of this boils down to something that's very unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
And it just takes really one, right? It just takes kind of a match to start a forest fire mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, parts of the world at one point in time saw these objects, that were flying that they've never saw fly before. And I think they kind of, I don't know what that is. You don't have internet where you could Google stuff. You don't have, you had snail mail and all this stuff that you can't, nothing was out there. So how do you know, even before TVs and networks and news, how do you know what the military is working on, what civilians are working on? How do you know when you see a plane, they're like, "Ew, I don't know what that is." It's something was in the sky and it was flying. It was big and it was loud and it had lights. And, I think that's where kind of your mind, and you tell one guy and then your school knows, and then this happens and it kind of explodes, and that turns into this phenomenon almost.
Right. So let's look at it from the American perspective, since this is the country we're in. You mentioned Roswell. Mm-hmm. Roswell was, okay, if I get real deep on you guys, Roswell wasn't really the first incident that a lot of ufologists recognized, but it was the biggest event in that it's when it really got popularized. It, hit the newspapers, it hit the town. People were really interested. You had the military involved. So if you don't know about Roswell, I'll kind of give you a quick background. So basically, flying saucer crash lands on this farm.
Yeah.
All right. And it said that there were 3 alien bodies, probably about the size of a 9-year-old child.
Yeah.
Were found. 2 of them were dead. 1 of them were still living. And so you had the army scrambling to this farm to see what it was.
Yeah.
And then of course you got all the locals that are involved, the people that brought the caskets, and the people who wrote the stories, and then the people who own the farm, and so there's all these little bits and pieces that kind of fuse Roswell and make sure that Roswell doesn't go away. Well, the town of Roswell said, "Hey, we're a small, sleepy town." They kind of took it and they started capitalizing off of it, because they made the whole town almost into like the Disney World of UFOs.
Yeah.
So if you ever go to the town, everything's UFO.
Yeah.
Keychains, bumper stickers, hats, shirts, you name it, it's being capitalized off of. The curious thing about Roswell was that the lie behind it.
Yeah.
That the Army was telling people, hey, this was a weather balloon, and they had their reasons. Of course, you don't want to freak the populace out by saying aliens are here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they say it's a weather balloon, but quickly that lie got dispelled as evidence started to show up. And again, when locals started talking and saying things different. Well, I bought 3 baby-sized caskets. Who needs caskets if it's just a weather balloon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got the whole Roswell autopsy that came out, I think in the 80s or the 90s. And again, it just kind of snowballed. But the true origin of UFOs in America, some say it dates back to when the Manhattan Project started.
Okay.
And when the atom bomb was first tested, some people say that woke up the galaxy, the universal community, and said, hey, these humans have created something that can destroy them. They can destroy themselves with.
Yeah.
We need to go and visit this planet and tell them, hey, that's not the way, and show them that's not the way.
Yeah.
And so, of course, after the Manhattan Project, we dropped the bombs in Hiroshima and Tokyo. And so now we're using it.
Yeah.
So that's when you start getting a lot of UFO sightings. Just it increased like almost overnight.
Yeah.
Where everybody was seeing them. You even have people who were fighting in the war that saying, "Hey, our planes are being escorted by these UFOs. What's going on?"
Yeah.
They called them Foo Fighters back then.
Yeah.
the
I remember
band
that.
Foo Fighters. Yeah, that's where they get their name from, Foo Fighters. So that's kind of where it originated. But you got the nuclear age started. And that's when these unidentified flying objects really started showing up here in America.
Yeah.
But actually, if you study some of the religious doctrine, you can go back and see paintings and books and scriptures and things where people talked about these unidentified flying objects even back then.
Yeah.
So the question is, when did this really originate?
Yeah.
Have they been with us the whole time? That's really the question. Even some of the Egyptian artifacts or Egyptian, what I'm trying to say, pyramids and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Some people say, you can see UFOs carved into the walls, or in some of the tablets and rock tablets, stone tablets they find, you can find evidence of UFOs. Even some of the paintings, you can find evidence of UFOs in the background. So honestly, I don't really think we know the true source or the true origin of UFOs, because it goes back to when records were first being kept.
And that's one of the things that I was kind of looking up here, and it's some of the things I'm reading. It's almost like like back in the day. People saw the moon and it was round and it looked like the earth. And then they said, hey, listen, that could be another planet. Animals live there. People live there, things like that. And it kind of starts spreading the idea to people that things out there that we don't know about. We've never been on the moon. We're talking way back. We're talking about like,
right.
200 AD and stuff. We're talking, you see it. And your imagination is there, regardless if you could speak a language or not back then. You still have a brain, and that's what your brain does. It gives you those possibilities, And I think that's kind of where a lot of this rolls into, because if you ask me if I think aliens exist.
Uh-oh, here we go, people. Here we go. The test. Litmus test.
I could tell you, I think there are people or creatures that do live other than this planet somewhere in the universe. I do.
So you believe in extraterrestrials? There are other beings outside
I believe so.
Earth.
Yeah, I do. I do that,
Now, do you believe that because the galaxy is so big that we can't be the only... It's almost like, wait a minute, why make all these planets and all these stars and all these, things, and we're just the only one?
It's almost a common sense thing that pops in my head, This was created, this universe was created, and do I believe the selfish mindset that Earth is the only one out of everything in existence out there? No, I don't. I believe that there are other planets that are out there. I just... For whatever reason, I think there's a reason why we haven't been able to communicate or reach each other. You know, I'm sure there's other planets out there trying to do the same thing. You know, and it kind of brings me to not getting too into it, but almost like I joke around between me and you, like the Tower of Babel.
Oh, great place to start.
You know,
yes.
Where you kind of say, hey, listen, I need to start separating these people and pushing them here, moving people there, splitting them up here, because together they're almost unstoppable. And I don't want that route, you know, and that's kind of why I think, hey, let's let them get a little out there and explore, and who knows what happens, you know, in the future when technology gets more advanced. But, you know, looking at a perspective of not believing and trying to have common sense and things like that, I could almost say, you know, us talking government and cover-ups and stuff, why do you need 3 caskets if it's just a weather balloon?
Right.
How do we know it wasn't a government, whatever it was, whether it was
experimental airplane,
something happened and then ended up killing kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? And trying to,
good thought. Right.
You know what I mean? You never know. And then they're saying, oh, well, this, and then, hey, let's spin it like, okay, sweet, aliens, we'll go with that. And, you know, it just kind of, that's where I think people's minds, because I think people want to believe something out there. You know, they want to.
It's funny you say people want to believe, because that was one of the main storylines in the X-Files show that came on, where you had Scully, which is the redhead doctor. She's constantly telling Mulder, you want to believe. He even says in the beginning of the show, I want to believe.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's kind of like what you just said about you believe that there's other life form outside of the Earth.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it that we want to believe this so much?
I don't know what it is, man. For me personally, it boils down to just having an open mindset. I really think, I think it's selfish for people to think, oh, well, it's out there. I even think, man, there's planets just like Earth with people just like Earth.
Wow.
Out there. I don't think it even has to do with some weird green guy or, you know, something shooting out acid. Yeah, I don't. I do, because I think it's a selfish thought to say, hey, here's the Earth. Here's all these, you know, expanded galaxies and all this, and we're the only ones that exist. I mean, that's crazy.
You know, I think you do try to take it from a logical perspective, from a logical standpoint, and say, yeah, all these planets are supposedly out there. Something has to be out there. Yeah. You know, and then you have NASA comes along and they start doing the missions to space and the satellites and the probes and all that, and they come back, yeah, we think we found water, yeah, we think we found microbes, yeah, we're seeing pictures of this, and people say, well, there's bases on the moon and there's faces on Mars and all of this, and then let's not forget about popular culture like Star Wars and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica and all the other space movies that come out that feeds into the hysteria of space. So it's not just that we want to believe. There's some fun in believing. Yeah. There's fun in believing that Star Wars could be possible.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? There's fun in believing that we can the space is the final frontier and we can be part of the Enterprise's voyage. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of joy we get out of a space. So I think it's kind of taking a life of its own. I think for me, the frustrating part is the government not being so truthful for whatever reason to protect us or not protect us, or take advantage of us. That frustrates me more than anything, because I hate cover-ups, I hate lies, I hate speculation when we're big boys. You know, give it to us. Yeah, allow us to make this decision on our own. So that's kind of where my frustration is, without getting too deep into the whole alien conspiracy thing. Yeah, of course. And you know, jumping into another unknown, ghosts. Do ghosts exist? Do they not exist? You know, it's I mean, because you have, once again, you have TV shows and you have movies and you have all these different things, and it's almost like people who they can't explain it right then and there. Right. They automatically go to one of these things. Yes. I can't explain it. It's got to be ghosts.
It's got to be. I've never seen a ship do that. It's got to be aliens.
Right.
You know, I've never seen an animal like that. Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And
Yeah.
you know, I started reading and doing some research into ghosts and you know, whether people believe it or not. So there was a poll that was done here late last year. And it says that 42% of Americans say they believe in ghosts.
Wow. Okay.
42%. And in the UK, 52% of people believe in ghosts. You know, and then when you get to Asia, I don't actually have a percentage, but theirs are a huge amount of people that do.
Yeah, you know, the big thing with Ghost is, you know, same with this, you gotta think about way back when.
Yeah.
You know, before there were, you know, screens in front of everybody, you know, they had to explain stuff like you said, and a lot of it was built into your mythology. Things you couldn't explain, things you couldn't understand, it became part of the mythology, and it became part of the stories that was passed down from generation to generation, you know.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about Krampus around Christmas, where they create this guy to kind of scare kids, right?
Yeah.
You know, and we were joking earlier that maybe they created ghosts to scare kids and just stand their little bad butts in bed at night.
Yeah, exactly. Like hey, listen, if you get out of bed, the boogeyman's gonna jump out of the closet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you almost gotta, you know, with like kids and then even people, you know, hey, listen, man, you can't go over here. Let's just say I'm not jumping in conspiracy, but let's just say I'm a government agent, and I say, listen, these people can't go over here because if they do, there's going to be ghosts and they're going to take over your house and murder you.
Do you know there are whole islands out there that have people will not visit because an insane asylum was on that island?
Yeah.
And they believe that it's haunted.
Yeah.
So no one goes back to this island.
Yeah. And then that's where, you know, you find gold and you find nuclear rockets and you find all the government secrets.
Right.
You realize there are aliens and that there is a teleportation device there to reach their planet.
And they're just hiding it from all of us. But you know, ghosts are a funny thing because the Bible talks about spirits.
Yeah.
You know, and so is there a difference between spirits and ghosts?
I think there are.
Okay.
I think as far as ghosts are concerned, mostly people think of ghost as something that moves objects, something that shows up in pictures, something that is stuck here because it can't move on. You know,
Yes,
I think that's really it. And digging into this, you know, I found some really cool stuff.
Well, please share.
Of why people think this. And one of the big things that I bumped into is it's how our brains are wired. So part of the reason many of us believe in ghosts simply comes down to the way our brains work. And this is an article that was done by a gentleman out of the University of South Carolina. The human mind seeks patterns to make sense of ambiguous information, like things that are unexplainable. Ghosts are always seen under ambiguous circumstances, such as poor lighting, or when you're waking up or falling asleep, or when the senses aren't at their peak functions. People who believe in ghosts are often in situations where they're expecting to see them, such as like a haunted house or a haunted tour. If you're looking for something, tell me this. If you're looking for something, are you not more likely to find it if you're actually looking for something?
Yeah, I was funny you said that because I was driving the other day and I was thinking, man, you know, if you can think it, isn't it a possibility that it can be realized?
Yeah.
You know, doesn't everything that we do start with a thought?
Yeah.
Everything does, you know, from the TV to the cell phone to the cup to the pencil. It all originates from a thought.
Yeah.
So if it originates from a thought, then it's possible.
Yes.
Is my mindset. So
yeah. And you almost, it's almost like you're wanting to see something happen, and then all of a sudden your mind almost manifests it out there, and you're like, dude, did you see that? that ghost we were looking for was right behind the tree.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's the ghost hunter shows, bro. That every time they go to a house and why do they always have the crappy cameras that has like
Of course.
the one binocular lens view,
and then it's all shaking, and then
yeah.
Come on,
and then
man.
it's night vision, and it's that's the other lure. That's the other part of this, is that people like to be frightened. There is a rush that you get, almost close to pleasure. Of being frightened. That's why we go to haunted houses. That's why we go and see scary movies, because we get something out of it.
Yes, because, and that's going to my next point.
All right.
You seek the thrill of ghosts, of the unknown.
Right.
Another reason people believe in ghosts is the same reason that people like to watch scary movies. They like to play Bloody Mary and those games, use Ouija boards.
You gave me chills, bro. Because I can remember being a kid, man, and the kids would talk about playing that silly game Bloody Mary. And then in the 90s, the 80s or the 90s, I want to say the early 90s, what was the name of the guy? Oh God, you look in the mirror and say his name.
Candyman?
They filmed it here. Yes, they filmed it here in Chicago. And the project's in Chicago. So of course, me being from Chicago, it was real big.
Yeah.
No way you're getting me to go in a bathroom, look in the mirror, turn off the light, and say anything.
Yeah.
I'm 41, and I'll be 41. I still sleep with the lights on sometimes if I get spooked, bro. I don't want any part of it. Call me a punk if you want. I don't want any part of it. But Ouija boards, I mean, I don't know if you're done talking about ghosts. I don't want to cut you off, but Ouija board kind of touches on some of that stuff too. But go ahead and finish talking about ghosts.
Yeah.
Before we move on.
And it's almost like we were saying, the thrill of it. People want to get scared. People want to seek that. And it's actually, there's a word for buying into scary stories. It's called legend tripping. And
legend tripping?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I've heard that before.
And it's basically, people seeking that rush. There's a contradiction, I think, at what people believe in ghosts.
Okay.
And that is, on one hand, there's the idea that ghosts are scary and wish to do us harm. But on the other hand, there are people who go looking for ghosts. So why would you look for something that's going to scare you, that's going to do you harm, if you knew that really it wasn't going to hurt you or harm you?
Yeah.
So then that's where you think that's that thrill. Like you want to go find something.
Right.
And it's just funny because you have the movies, the shows that we were talking about.
Ghostbusters, they're redoing that one.
Yeah. You have all these things that are, it just ties into almost like your mind, and you're buying into these. There's already people who say they see ghosts and have experienced these things and all this. And once again, the media and then the entertainment industry and all that keeps it going. And then it just keeps feeding that fire of, oh, there's a ghost. Oh, there's this going on. And, there's a lot of scientific stuff that's here. And one that I wanted to mention here.
Don't bore me, Chris.
This is crazy. And because it's true that if you already believe in ghosts or that you're told a place is haunted, you're more likely to interpret events as paranormal.
Of course.
So a 2002 study found that believers in ghosts were more likely than non-believers to report unusual phenomena while touring this particular site in Britain, with the reputation of being haunted. The visitor...
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to tell you what this is, right? Isn't this Fear Factor? The TV show Fear Factor?
Yeah.
Where they take a rabbit, and some jelly beans, and they put them inside of a glass case.
And make you reach in?
They make you reach in, and you think, and people were just like,
because it's
screaming.
The unknown. You don't know what you put in your hand.
But it's also your mind, though, too, right? It's your mind turning that bunny into Bigfoot's ankle or something, whatever it is, right? It's your mind turning those jelly beans into eyeballs or something creepy, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the people who believe in ghosts, they experience something because their mind is playing tricks on them.
Yeah, because they want it. They want to experience that.
They want it. I love you said that. They want that rush.
Yes. Visitors who were told that there was a recent increase in activity at this place,
right,
also reported a higher number of unusual experiences. Just buying into the hype. They wanted it. They want it.
Right.
And, you know, you just think about it. You're like, man, well, you came here for a reason. You paid your money to go get scared and get haunted and find the thrills. It's almost like you want something to happen. That way your money goes somewhere. Right? Like you want to buy into this. Oh, well, man, no, it's true, dude. We were in there. I was in a closet. The closet slammed shut. And then I heard these voices, and you're like, come on, man.
Right.
You know, what we have here is people trying to make sense of something that to them seems unexplainable.
Okay.
So
let me get so I'm going to nail you down. You are 100% on the side that you don't believe in ghosts.
I don't believe in ghosts. Never been scared of ghosts. I'm like you. My mind's super creative, and whenever I start scaring myself, it's not ghosts. You know what I mean?
Right.
And one thing that brought this up is, I don't remember what exactly started, but I remember a buddy of mine. Well, I hope he's a buddy of mine, but Tony, which is your nephew.
Yeah.
He started talking about ghost stories, and then it cut to a story where you guys were talking about not being able to move, like when you're in bed and things like that. And man, I found a study from the French that talks about hallucinations are more common among the population than people realize. Mm-hmm. And so you're talking about sleep paralysis, right? 30 to 40% of people have experienced sleep paralysis at least once in their lives by a world study for the first world study problems kind of thing. And then 5% of those participants also reported visual and audio hallucinations along with sleep paralysis, including monstrous figures, difficulty breathing.
Oof, been there, bro. Experienced it, man. That's why I don't like talking about this stuff.
Yeah, and so
it freaked me out.
And then it's crazy because more of the world in different cultures, where there's study done in Hong Kong, 30% of students in this particular school, 37% of students reported at least one instance of what we just talked about. They call it ghost oppression.
Right.
In Thailand, they call it Phi which is ghost covered. Canada, it's known as the visit from the old hag. Like, if you put all this together, I mean, this is just talking about people believing in this when there's actually something behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there, it's happening, there's a scientific reason, but people still don't want to buy into it. Because they want to say, dude, I was choked out by a ghost last night in the alley. You know what I mean?
For me, it's science versus faith.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it at the end of the show, but that's what it is to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doubting the science. Because what is science? Science is really having a theory, going out and testing it, and then sharing the evidence, looking at the evidence, right? Yeah. Examining the evidence, the data. So I'm not saying that there's not data out there that says one thing or the other.
Yeah.
But for me, it's deeper than that.
Yeah.
And that's what freaks me out when you start talking about this stuff, because I've experienced it.
Yeah.
So
and going into that, what we were talking about, I'd mention one thing. When I start getting in my mind, I don't think about ghosts. I don't think about Bigfoot and all these different things. I think about the one thing that I truly believe in and that scares me, and that's demons. That's my scare factor. Like, that's what freaks me out.
All right, so you want to talk about that right now? I kind of want to say that for last.
Yeah. Well, we're towards the end of the show.
All right, well, let's take one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll sum it up with demons. Let's do that.
All right.
All right.
Let's take a
Be
break.
right back. That's scary, dude. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm going to be honest with you.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
No. I don't need it. I don't need that in my mental Rolodex, bro. Welcome back to episode 12 of Fantasy Friends. I am your host, Merc. This is the other host, Majelen. And we are talking about the origins of the unknown. Mm-hmm. This is our final segment. So when we're going to talk about demons, I just wanted to briefly say before we talk about demons,
yes,
I believe in Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe in Bigfoot. I know there are some fake videos and stuff out there, but I've seen some evidence that convinces me that Bigfoot exist, and it's not far fetched.
Yeah.
Because when you look at some of the other Homo sapiens on the planet, Bigfoot fits right in.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that they do a good job of hiding.
Yeah.
I mean, some of you guys, I'm just gonna be real, bro.
They're just really good at hide and go seek.
They're the Saddam Husseins of hiding, bro. But everything gets caught, you know. I mean, you can have a backyard full of deers and not even know it, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about an intelligent being. I've researched this, and I'm a believer when it comes to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So,
like the Loch Ness and Bigfoot and the abominable snowman, the Yetis.
Yeti. Yeah.
I find that hard to believe, and the only reason why is because you're right. If something was out there like that people have seen for years and years and years,
right?
You can get it on photo.
Sure.
You can get it in a glimpse of it in video. You could hear it.
Yeah.
But you can't ever find it?
See, I think
because we're talking about like actual existing beings that are there. We're not talking about Bigfoot's there, and maybe there is a Bigfoot and he's got a magic power of teleportation. I don't know.
I will tell you this: they are still discovering new species of insects.
Yes,
in the rainforest and in the Galapagos Islands.
But they're actually finding them.
But look how long they've gone without finding them.
Yeah,
right.
But
when you thought,
were they searching for them this hard though?
Well, of course they found them, right? In order for you to find something, you gotta be looking for it.
Yeah.
See, I think you have people.
Don't take my line. That's my line. You don't take that line.
I think if people took Bigfoot more serious, you know what I mean? Like we search for life on Mars.
Yeah.
And the community put its efforts towards Bigfoot. I think you will have a lot more evidence.
Yeah.
You know, I think they do know that these things exist, and they may not want people to know. Yeah. Maybe they're doing some gene splicing. You know what I'm saying?
Bears.
Conspiracy theory.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. So let's get to the final topic. Demons. I'm going to let you start. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to give you my opinion on this show, Origins of the Unknown. Go ahead.
Demons.
Deep breath.
Demons to me, I know they exist.
What are demons? What are demons to you?
Demons to me are the fallen angels of heaven. That's what I believe. I believe that I do believe in heaven and hell. And I do believe that there are angels up there, whether it's God's army or just everybody's an angel while you're up there. I don't know that, but I believe that there are people who had, just like on Earth, had opportunities to do something good and then ended up spinning it in a very selfish way and turned everything bad. And now they're in a different place. And I believe these demons are those, they are the angels of hell. I guess you would put it as that.
So, I like that.
So, and to me, I think demons are throughout existence in different ways, shapes, and forms to get people, not to scare people. They're not ghosts, not to, make people do research, but really to pull people in a direction away from good, take them down a different path, take them from being a good person with good intentions to someone who might see that $20 bill, come out of someone's wallet and take it instead of handing it back to them. You know what I mean? I think that they shift momentum whenever, I guess what I'm trying to say is that they are the evil fishing net to keep you away from God. Is that a good?
Oh, okay. I think that's a great way.
Is that a good way to do that?
Yeah, but let me give what I think my definition is, and I'm gonna brush up against the Bible. So there are several thoughts behind what demons are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The thought is they are fallen angels, right? Yeah. That they're taking on a fallen form.
Yeah.
So as we know, angels are supposed to be beautiful creatures with wings and loving harps and pretty music. Demons are the opposite of that in the sense that they're fallen. When fallen meaning they rebelled against God and they cannot be redeemed.
Yeah. That's
what fallen means. You cannot be redeemed. God, because of how they were created and because they were in heaven originally with God, he says, basically what he's saying is there's no redemption for you.
Yeah.
You knew who I was. You knew what I was about. And you rebelled against me anyway. You followed the bad guy, Satan, and you tried to basically take over my kingdom. So there is no redemption for you, as opposed to humans who have redemption, for whatever reason. We're a lesser being.
Yeah.
Right. So, angels were said to be created out of a smokeless fire. All right. As opposed to humans were created out of the earth.
Yeah.
All right. So just put those differences out. The angels are said to be able to shapeshift. And why shapeshift? I know that sounds science fictionishly. That's where the Bible talks about we entertain angels and not know it.
Yeah.
And what it says, and then it talks about angels coming and visiting with Abraham, visiting with Mary, visiting with various other characters throughout the Bible, and they would take on human forms to do this. And the first thing they would tell you is, do not fear.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. This is the opposite of what demons do.
Yeah.
So the other thought about demons is, okay, there's this whole story, in Genesis and in the book of Enoch where angels left their original place. Basically said they quit being angels, started sleeping with human women. They created hybrids. Some people believe that when the hybrids died, their spirits had no place to go and that the spirits are the demons.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced of that thinking. Yeah. I'm more leaning towards the fallen angels because of the power they have, the power to shape shift, the power to communicate telepathically, the power to enter a human body and leave that body. All these things are happening in the Bible.
Yeah.
So that's why I think these are this is what demons are, if that makes sense. So
and with demons, that's the one thing that freaks me out because I don't think it's an unknown to me as it is. You see it all the time, and you don't see possessions all the time or even at all. But you don't. What I think, I know it's portrayed, and I know that there are videos and stuff out there of people being possessed and stuff, but I think it's a lot different than that. I think it's more of my angels to demons almost is like the shoulder where you have the angel on one side and then, you have God on one side and the devil on the other, and they're trying to tell you do this and this one's convincing you to do that. I think that is more of what you deal with because to me, like you said in the Bible, when angels came down and spoke to these particular people, to me that is, I take my gut instincts or these feelings that I just all of a sudden where I see someone that is in dire need of something
Yeah.
and something falls on me that I have no idea why. You know, when I pass many of people that are maybe on the street and then this particular one I can't pass.
Ooh,
I
the
have
Holy
to,
Spirit.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I think that comes in. But then I think you have where you do have these demons on the other side, right? To where, like you said, you're a good person, you know, old lady, or not even old lady, just a lady falls over, groceries fall out, and you're just whatever. And then you have, you go pick them up, help them out. Then you have this other side of it where you just see her and you laugh at her or you whatever. And I think then that's kind of, I think there's a pool there, and there's a, I don't know if this sounds too Hollywoodish, but a war between souls, if that is kind of where they're fighting and they're saying, hey, dude, you got to go this way. And then, you know, of course, demons are like, dude, no, you got to go this way, right?
Right.
And I think it's more than just that. I think it's all these things that we see here in the world, whether it's movies or pornography or the way that we view animals as just unsuperior. And I think all that has to do with what demons are around us and what they're here for.
So, Chris, imagine this. All right. You have rebelled against your creator.
Yeah.
Right. Then your creator goes out and he makes a being that is lesser than you that also rebels against him. Right.
Yeah.
But he says, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a way for that being to come back to me.
Yeah.
As a fallen angel.
Oh, you'd be upset.
Thank you. I'm glad you said it. You'd be pissed off, right?
Yeah.
You know you can't do anything to hurt the creator, right? But you know that you can hurt what the creator loves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you also know that you can hurt God by making the humans, I'll just start speaking plainly. You know that if I can get this person that you love so much to rebel against you, I know that's going to cause you some type of grief.
Yeah, of course.
Right? You know, the Bible tells us that God was, what's the word he said in Genesis? He was grieved, from lack of a better word, that he created mankind.
Yeah.
Right. This is before he sent the flood, because he said all our thoughts were continuously evil.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think it was super easy back then.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, check it out.
It just wasn't that it was super easy back then. It was because the fallen angels had came and taught us things that we didn't need to know, like divination of roots, and taught us about astrology and about war and about metal making. But they did all these things. They taught us all these things because they knew that we would use these things to rebel against the one that loved us.
Yeah.
So when you say there's this war going on, this battle that's going on almost internally, it is.
Yeah.
You know, it is a battle going on, and it's a battle for, you have this group of beings trying to get you to rebel against your creator.
Yeah.
They're trying to get you to turn your nose from the creator, and they're also trying to get you to be like them.
Yeah.
Because they know ultimately what their end is. They know what their end is. So they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, of course.
So it's almost like, man, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody down with me.
Yeah.
Especially if I know that a soul burning in hell is a soul that's not going to be with God, and that's going to grieve him in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to me, that's what you see in this world. Now, you brushed up on possession. We know that demon possession takes place, but it doesn't always take place in the way that we see it in, what's the name of the chick that was spitting up the green pea
Hey,
soup?
you don't talk about my favorite movie, The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Okay. So we don't always see him in the form of the Exorcist, but you do.
Yeah, you do have a little bit of that.
So you take these almost infinite internal creatures who've been around before, you know, we could blow our nose and wipe our butt. They're a lot more intelligent than us. So if they possess somebody today, they're not going to start spitting up pea soup because it's obvious, right?
Yeah.
No, what they're going to do is they want to be worshipped. So who do we worship here? We worship celebrities. So you'll often see a lot of celebrities, athletes, politicians who are possessed.
Yeah, I believe that, man. What you said,
Yeah,
I think that is more of not. I don't want to say a modern day, but that is.
it is. No, modern day is perfect.
I think that this is even going on way before then. It's just different cultures.
Yes,
Maybe in different cultures, there's different approaches.
of course.
If there's nothing really going on and you don't have the entertainment, let's just throw out a tribe over here and yada yada yada, and they're
Right.
they're doing everything is all cool, lovey dovey, and then if you got to go to that, like you said, like The Exorcist, where heads are spinning and people are crawling up on tents and stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
then to get what they're trying to achieve done, then it's going to happen. But with us, it's I believe, a lot easier to blend in because you don't see that. You see these movements and these changes and these things happening, and I don't think it's just all about someone's inner greed. Then I think it is, like you said, almost like a possession. And hey, listen, I want this to happen. I need this to happen. And and a lot of those people, they'll throw around, God this and Christians and this and that, but you don't really hear them speaking about it or attending events like that or going to church or anything.
Where's the fruit? Where's the
Yeah.
fruit? You say you're an apple tree, but you're producing oranges.
Yeah.
Where's the fruit that you're producing? And that's why it's easy to point out celebrities, politicians, and athletes because they're so viewable.
Yeah.
But every day, it happens in everyday lives. The guy next to you, the girl next to you on the bus, they're also dealing with these possessions. But I point those three categories out because these are the popular categories. These are the ones that we worship.
Yeah.
These are the ones that we put on a pedestal. So how do we grieve God? Well, God wants us to only worship Him.
Yeah.
But if we worship an athlete, if you worship a superhero per se, if you worship a singer or a movie star, now that's worship that's being directed away from God. Again, it's all about rebellion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now let's get back to what we started to show off when we were talking about aliens and we were talking about ghosts. These things, we talked about how they become such a part of our pop culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, in my opinion, I think you have these shape-shifting falling angels pretending to be ghosts, pretending to be aliens because it draws the attention to them.
Yeah.
It draws you away from God.
Yeah.
And that's why I when you say you don't believe in ghosts, no, I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in demons pretending to be ghosts. Demons with the power to move stuff in a room, to get us to believe in ghosts. I believe in demons with the power to give us technology that looks like alien aircraft or to even fake alien aircraft landing or fake being, 20 different types of alien creatures. All the stuff that you see when you get to surfing the internet and researching these things, all these different entities that you see here on Earth, in my opinion, these are just demons pretending to be something else because we know they have the power to take on different forms. Yeah. And do the things that they do. Even magicians, when you get to searching on some of these magicians and some of the things they do, there's sleight of hand and then there's demonic magic. Yeah. And again, and all it is doing is trying to pull you away from or get you to rebel. Yeah. And we talked about the fruit. Well, let's look at the music. You talked about porn. Look at the music, the porn, the movies, all these things that rebel against the nature of God. Yeah. We have to sit back and say, all right, what's really behind these things? Yeah. And for me personally, I think it's the demonic spirits. Yeah. Behind a lot of this stuff. Yeah. And the Bible talks about it. So. And
it's funny that you mentioned, that some of the words that you use, and one of the things that I thought when you mentioned, that person beside you and things like that, because now it makes me think, okay, you have demons that are out there and, they are possessing people and they're making them do these things that they wouldn't normally do or that are against, all good in the world. So you have that going on, but it almost makes me think, so people staying sick and depression and things like that, is that would you say, a latch on that particular person, or not even that person, but that household, like attacking?
Well, this is where you have to be careful because we don't want to give them too much power.
Yeah.
All right. So sometimes a cold is a cold.
Yeah.
Sometimes a virus is a virus that's in your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, other times, yeah, you know, you are being spiritually attacked. Your house is being spiritually attacked. And this goes back to why I didn't want to do this show, because one of the first things I talked about was when you start watching some of these movies and you start reading some of these books and you start listening to some of these music and you start worshiping some of these celebrities, you start opening yourself up.
Yeah.
Like screwing the top off of a container.
Yeah.
And allowing these beings to latch onto you, to come inside of you if you don't have the Holy Spirit inside of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not coming. If you got the Holy Spirit, you're great.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep the Holy Spirit. You're great. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Bible talks about if a demon leaves, get a demon and it gets rid of it. It goes and gets 7 more of its friends and comes back.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes you see like a recovering alcoholic who beat it, but then he starts drinking again and it gets increasingly worse.
Yeah.
But that's because this person has, again, there's more demons attacking them. So yeah, there are some spiritual attacks, but I don't want to give them too much power. Sometimes depression is depression because it's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
You know, you're sick because you got a virus and there's a flu going around, something like that. So, you want to be safe? Personally, accept Christ as your Savior. Make sure the Holy Spirit is living in you, and you know, there you go.
Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say,
So,
I was gonna say, who you gonna call?
Well, you can call the Ghostbusters, but Slimer is not gonna be your problem. You got bigger problems. You got to deal with Vigo. Remember Vigo? The big dude. Yeah. You got to deal with Vigo. So. It gets real deep, and I know that's not where we want to go with this show, but I just want to be honest about what's out there, man.
Yeah, but the show takes a mind of its own. You know what I mean? And so I think we hit on some good key points on demons,
the unknown,
ghosts, aliens, how our minds work, what exists, what don't, you know, and things like that. And you know, it is unknown. These are unknown for a lot of people. You know, you don't have people going around talking about, unless you're just kind of that into it, you don't have a lot of people going around talking about these things. And so we just thought it was interesting. And I know that I want to do the show because you didn't want to do the show. So. So. Yeah. I think we'll end the episode there. I think we hit on everything we wanted to hit. I don't know about you, but I feel like crawling on the ceiling tonight.
Again, you'll be doing that by yourself. Where can they find us, man?
You can find us on Facebook. Just type in Fantasy Friends Podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Fantasy Friends at FanFryPod. You can find us on Twitter. I just said Twitter. You can actually write us. You can find us. You can write to us directly through email, fantasyfriendspodcast@gmail.com. And now you can find us. We only have one right now, but you can find us on YouTube. Just type in Fantasy Friends Podcast. Keep searching for it. We're putting more videos, and we're going to get it out there. That way you guys can have a lot more fans with you to talk about whatever we're talking about.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris. So I'm working hard to put all was going to be 12 episodes up on YouTube. That's going to serve as our archive from now until we can build up some other things like our webpage and some other things that we're working on. But I'm going to ask you guys to do us a favor. Please, please, please share this episode or past episodes that you've enjoyed with at least 2 or 3 of your friends.
Yes.
You know, it's very easy to find. All you got to do is you can go to Facebook. That's probably the easiest. You're going to be able to find us on YouTube. That's going to be easy. These are popular sites. We always post it on Twitter as well. But we want to build up our listenership. And we need your help doing that. And the only way we can do it is by getting the word out. And that comes with you saying, hey, check out this cool podcast. It's about an hour, 15 hour long. Yeah. It's really cool. I know these guys, they're down to earth. They're funny. Help us get the show out there, and we'll continue to bring you some great content. I think next week we're going to try to do a show on fetishes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They don't all have to be that type of fetish. And then after that, we're going to do another, hopefully, Lord willing, we'll do another conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory!
Thank you. I cannot do it better than you. We're going to do another show on that where we get into whether or not the earth is flat or round. Oh, I can't wait for that show.
It's going to be awesome. But yeah, to piggyback off of you.
I was closing the show.
Please do share. We don't ask you guys to do much.
Just said that.
I like you to lean back and listen to us and laugh and have fun and learn things.
Why is he taking my thunder?
But I just want to piggyback on what you said. Please do share, do pass. I know you guys who listen already do that. But one of my goals is I want to have a shirt that says Fan Fry Pod.
Oh, me too, bro. Oh.
Fan Fry Pod and like you said, Chinese letters.
Number 6
on a menu. And I really want to do a Fantasy Friends maybe text tone.
The little white box that the fried rice comes in, bro, with like Fan Fry Pod on it, and then under it like number 6. Oh,
See? I want to do that, and I want to do a text tone. That way, when you get text, it says Fantasy Friends.
Oh, you should do a conspiracy theory one. Do that again.
Conspiracy theory.
That's the one I want. Hey, thank you guys for listening. This has been episode 12, The Origins of the Unknown. We'll talk to you next week.